Hello, my name is Trayvon. You're watching Politalks on RPTV. Today we are joined by special guest John Tory.
Hi Trayvon, how are you? Good to be here.
Pretty good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
So what was your inspiration to run for mayor?
Well, I've been involved in the community since I was a teenager. The United Way, St. Mike's Hospital, they have an inner city health program. I've been very involved. The Salvation Army, Civic Action, I was the chair of just before I resigned that job to come and run. And you can get a lot done in those organizations, building a better city, trying to help those who need a bit of help, just building the city up. But the place you can make the biggest difference is in government. And I love Toronto. I mean, I think Toronto is a fantastic place to live. But, if we want to be even better, which you should aspire to do, then we have some things to do in terms of getting the traffic and transportation better, more jobs, helping some of the neighborhoods that are struggling a bit to, have access to opportunity. So the best place to do that is get yourself elected to government. And the mayor's job is an important job, which I think has been... we've been let down by the current mayor in terms of his behavior and the way he's conducted himself, and so I think it's time for a change, and so I offered myself up for that change, and the voters will decide on October 27th.
If you do get elected, what do you plan to accomplish and how?
Well, I've talked a lot about traffic and transportation because I think right now we have a terrible problem. I mean, young people, whether it's from here in Regent Park or in the far corners of northwest Etobicoke or northeast Scarborough, have trouble getting around the city. Sometimes there just isn't a viable transit alternative. Other times, people are in traffic who may be a bit older who are trying to get to a job and they can't get to a job on transit or in a car they don't have. And so I really think you have to fix that. And I think you have to fix that by getting the cars moving because a lot of the buses and streetcars now are in the traffic jam, so it doesn't do any good to be on one. But then I think you have to build more transit. And so I have talked about both building the Scarborough subway, which I think will connect Scarborough better to jobs and connect people from other parts of the city to jobs that are in Scarborough. But I also think that my Smart Track proposal, which will put electric trains every 15 minutes all day on existing GO train tracks, will be a tremendous thing, especially for young people who don't have a car. Increasing numbers of young people, as those watching will know, don't even bother to get a driver's license anymore. They don't really want a car. Many can't afford a car. And they don't think there's a car needed in a city like this, but that counts on the fact you have proper transit. And my Smart Track proposal will have a train run all the way from Etobicoke to Union Station and all the way up to Scarborough, and will give, for the first time, a lot of young people in the downtown and in the suburban areas of the city a chance to move back and forth through the whole city for the price of a TTC fare, and do it on GO train tracks so it can be done quickly. I can have this Smart Track running in 7 years, it will cost the same as a TTC ride. So I think that's an important priority. Jobs are huge. We've got 85,000 people coming to the city each and every year, and they of course expect to be employed. I want to keep taxes down because I think a lot of people are struggling to pay their property taxes on their house or through their rent on their apartment. And I want to get along with the other governments because in the end, the other governments, the provincial government at Queen's Park and the federal government in Ottawa, they have a lot of the money that's going to help with whether it's affordable housing, such as we've seen here with the redevelopment of Regent Park, or whether it's with respect to transit projects that have to get built. They can help pay for those. So those are among the things that I've talked about.
How do you support art programs such as this one?
Well, I mean, to me, these kinds of programs are the best investment we ever make. There are others, including Mayor Ford sometimes, who sort of say, oh, these are frills, these are, things that are, he's even called some of these programs hug-a-thug programs. Yeah. And I just think that's really a gross abdication of his responsibility as mayor. These kinds of programs give people a chance to learn some new skills, to have an outlet for their passions. They're the kinds of programs that build strong communities. I've been involved in a project called City Film, which has a competition for young filmmakers from some of the challenged neighborhoods in Toronto to make films. And they make films in a big competition, and somebody wins some money and gets the right to make another film, with that money and so on. I just think these projects are gold in terms of giving people an opportunity to learn skills and see out one of their passions. I happen to believe it's dumb, for example, for us to see this program funded by the Arts Council and then for the City of Toronto to take rent money back because it's all coming from the same place. I'd rather these programs were better funded by changing decisions like that and saying we're going to really invest in these because we can get more people involved and make more of a difference. So to me, programs like this and programs like it all over the city that focus sometimes on the arts, other times on, I was at a program last week, which was a great program that allowed kids for 19 weeks to learn how to become auto body repair people. And it was run by Tropicana, which is a fantastic organization. But it's very much a community-based program, and it's meant for kids who are struggling because they're out of work and out of school. And I went to see the program, and then I went to the graduation, and all the kids are thrilled. They've got this new skill. They all had jobs afterwards, and these are the best kinds of investments we can make to build stronger communities and make sure everybody has a chance. So I'm very favorably disposed to them, and unlike Mayor Ford, I will not seek to cut them or cut them back or criticize them. They have to be well run, and they have to be respectful of how the taxpayers' dollars are spent, but I think they're programs that pay themselves back 1,000 times over.
So aside from transit and traffic, what do you think the main issues are in the city?
Well, I think beyond traffic and transit and jobs, I think affordable housing is certainly an issue. And again, this development here is an example of where you can take something, redevelop it in a partnership between the private sector and the governments and end up with more housing in the end than you had before, more affordable housing. But I think we have to find ways, and I'm pledged to do that, to use different kinds of financial incentives, to use city land, to use zoning incentives, to encourage people to build more affordable housing. Because it's a very expensive place to live, and there are lots of people who work in the city, who need to work in the city, who we need to work in the city, who have trouble affording housing in the city because it's a very expensive place to live. So I think that's a huge issue. I think crime and community safety are an issue. I think the city's very safe, but I think we always want to be vigilant about that and make sure that we make sure the relationship between the community and the police is excellent, so that we can, make sure we kind of stop problems before they arise. I think that inclusion is still an issue. I was the co-chair of diversity before I ran for mayor, and it was an organization designed to make sure that our community's leadership was representative of the community that we have here, which of course, as you know, is incredibly diverse. And I think we have a lot of work to do. We're doing very well. We're an example to the world, but we can do even better at making sure that there are not people who are isolated in given communities, and that we include everybody and give them access to opportunity. So those are all things. I mentioned taxes, I think, before. We've got to make sure the taxes stay as low as possible because there are lots of people struggling to stay in their homes. So I think those are the things that I would focus myself on when I become the mayor.
Overall, what would you like to change?
Well, most of all, I think, Trayvon, that I would like to have people see a city government that works better. I think a lot of the times now when they turn on their TV and they see the city council meeting and they see kind of crazy arguments and people almost having fistfights on the ground, and they say to themselves, well, I didn't elect people to go down there and do that. I elected them to go down and build some transit and get some jobs and do some housing and so on. And so I really would like people to be prouder of their city government and prouder of their mayor. I think our mayor, the current one, has not behaved properly. He's embarrassed the city, and I think that's why he needs to be changed. But I think that I really would like people to feel a sense that things are working better. There's more getting done in terms of results on transit and on jobs and so on. And that the city government is in their corner. The city government is there for them. I think right now they think the city government is there for itself, and really doesn't have much to do with me, whoever I am, if I'm out there in Regent Park or in Malvern or in North Toronto or anywhere you want. So I think that's a principal objective that I have, to make sure people feel that the city government is working better, is working in what I'll call a more respectful manner, and is there for people, serving the people as opposed to looking like they're behaving like a bunch of fools and clowns. I just want to say congratulations to this whole program, and to the Politalks TV program, and to you, Trayvon. These are the kinds of programs that help people get skills they're going to use in later life, whether it's as political candidates or as TV people. And I just think that what's gone on here at Regent Park as well is a great example of how positive thinking and positive contributions by business and by government and others, including unions and so forth, can really make a difference in the community and in the lives of people. So I'm happy to be here.
Well,
thanks
again.
Thanks for having me. All the best. Thank you.
Well, that's about all the time we have for our show. Once again, our special guest was John Tory. My name is Trayvon. You've been watching Politalks on RPTV. We're signing out.